"Spirit," ventured Scrooge, "is this to illustrate what my lot might be?" In truth, he feared the answer, for he knew in his heart of whom they spoke. But the ghost remained silent, and the fog swirled to a new scene, that of a bedchamber, empty of breath. A figure lay on the bed, still, and with its face covered. Scrooge quailed back, quite unable to twitch back the sheet. The cold air eddied around the room, quite unimpeded by bed curtains, and even as he wondered at the lack, he seemed to step back into a new room, one crowded and yet cold, with ill-built walls barely screened by a patchwork of rags and tatters. In the center of a room sat a man, at least he seemed to be a man. Yet one could be forgiven had they mistaken him for a pile of rags, in which rose an ancient and decrepit visage, shaped by ill deeds and smoking a foul pipe. 3 other equally unsavory characters pushed through the ragged curtains, all of them with oddly shaped bundles. One, a woman of indeterminate age, cackled and pointed to the other 2. "I see we all took our advantage. Go on, then. I'm content to wait." The first showed a silver-backed brush and shaving set, presumably taken from the dead man's very dresser. The man looked over the items, named his price, and bought the stolen goods for a price that was a scant fraction of what they were truly worth, but which satisfied them both. The second, a woman, brought out the dead man's plates and pewter utensils, as well as some coal left idle in the scuttle. The third bundle took some undoing of knots, revealing a large amount of dark material. "What do you call this?" said the pipe-smoking proprietor. "Bed curtains? You don't mean to say you took him down, rings and all, with him lying there?" At the woman's firm nod, he went on. "You were born to make your fortune." "Don't drop oil upon those blankets now," she smirked. "The blankets, too?" He drew back a little. "I hope he didn't die of anything catching." "I didn't loiter about long. I ain't so fond of his company. And look at this shirt, the best he had, and they would have wasted it." He raised an eyebrow. "What do you call wasting of it?" The woman cackled. "Putting it on him to be buried in. Muslin's good enough for one such as he." Scrooge shivered and drew back, though to be sure there was no sense of cold or heat in this place. "Spirit," he cried, "the case of this man could be my own. I see it now, but I will change. I have changed. Is this not enough, or must you torment me with more, with these grotesque beings? Please show me some tenderness around a death, lest I be plagued with these visions thereafter." With a wave of a cloaked arm, the scene changed. It was a pretty view. The grass was yet green where it peeped through the light dusting of snow, and a tree grew on a hill, almost seeming to protect it. But there was his clerk, Bob Cratchit himself, kneeling next to a mound of dirt. The mound was pitiably small, and a few tears dropped upon Bob's clasped hands. Poor Tiny Tim, so beloved, and so missed when he was gone. "Oh, Spirit," gasped Scrooge, "must these things come to pass? Or can these shadows be altered?" He made to grasp at the cloak, but the phantom drew back, and Scrooge, stumbling, came across another part of the graveyard, not nearly so congenial, where diseased trees crouched over tumbled gravestones, and the mistletoe made a mockery of green spring. The ghost glided over to one stone, perhaps newer than the rest, and Scrooge knew that he must read what was writ upon its face. Through tears, he read the bare fact of his own name, the knowledge he had feared to gain, and he reached out towards the spirit, and clasping its cloak, he cried, "I shall amend my ways. I shall honor Christmas in my heart. Oh, tell me that I may sponge away this ignominious death." And under his hands, the cloak shriveled down, becoming bedclothes upon a bedpost. The bedpost was his own. The room was his own. And the pale light of morning was just streaming through the window. He ran there, opened it, and put out his head. There was no fog, nor mist. The weather was that cold, clear brightness, with golden sunlight and a crystal sky. Church bells sang out, and a small boy, dressed in his Sunday best, was just passing below. "What's today, my fine fellow?" called Scrooge. "Today?" replied the boy. "Why, it's Christmas Day!" He smiled up, tilting his hat to show the sprig of holiday green adorning it. "Christmas Day!" said Scrooge to himself. "I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night." He called down to the boy again. "Do you know the poulterers in the next street but one at the corner? Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there, the big one?" "What, the one as big as me?" returned the boy. "It's hanging there now." "Is it?" said Scrooge. "Go and buy it." "Walker!" exclaimed the boy. No, said Scrooge. "I am in earnest. Tell them to bring it here that I may purchase it, and give them the direction where to take it. Come back with the man, and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you half a crown." The boy was off like a shot, and Scrooge wrote the address in an unsteady hand. "I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's," he whispered. "He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim." When the turkey arrived, it was monstrous. Scrooge desired to obtain a cab, and the helpful boy was once again off like lightning, so that there was scarce time to pay the poulterer before the cab came to take him away again. And once those gentlemen had their due, Scrooge's eye fell upon the boy again. "Come in, my delightful child, so that I may reward you properly." And it is now, dear reader, that I must reluctantly relate that in the joy of his alteration, Ebenezer Scrooge had forgotten his well-drilled caution. He did not note that of the footprints in the yard, all were of a large adult size, and neither did he notice that the cheerful bit of green in the boy's hatband was not holly, but mistletoe. "Why, thank you, sir. I do believe I will," said the creature, and went inside. And that was that. Some people laughed to see the alteration in Scrooge, that he was now as profligate with his wealth as he had previously been tight-fisted. It was said of him that his generosity abounded, and never so much as upon the family of his clerk, Bob Cratchit, and to Tiny Tim, who did not die, but who lived to see his world grow strangely terrible. He was as a second father, one who watched him with glittering eyes, even as his family withered away, even as London itself became a showpiece of frenetic activity, without in any way gladdening true human hearts. Merry Christmas to all, and God help us, every one.